Pas pour arrêter, bah mon frère là, yo mange à quitter la vie. Apprécier ça, yo qu'a fait quand yo a parmi nous aujourd'hui. Là c'est mauvais valet, pied non, nous qu'a crucifié mon épi. Faut nous connaître, pour mais yo c'est pour nous tout ça bénéfice. For all the wonders you done for us all, spreading the culture all over the world. For all the good things that you done for God, that's what makes. We thanking you, brother. Trick. Pour tout ça au café, et puis au Japon, pour Colchono, et pour ça au café, pour Candas la esprit. Et puis pour ça, nous les points aujourd'hui, pour dire un pile merci. Prince Wadix, 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 Prince Wadix. We thanking you. Yes, I. Sakai Malad. Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix. Pas pour arrêter, bah mon frère là, yo mange à quitter la vie. Apprécier ça, yo qu'a fait quand yo a parmi nous aujourd'hui. Là c'est mauvais valet, pied non, nous qu'a crucifié mon épi. Faut nous connaître, pour mais yo c'est pour nous tout ça bénéfice. For all the wonders you done for us all, spreading the culture all over the world. For all the good things that you done for God, that's what makes. We thanking you, brother. Trick.
Bonjour à toute la Dominique et aux Antilles, c'est un grand plaisir pour nous avec vous, d'accord, messieurs, mesdames. Donc, disons bienvenue sur spéciale émission de Creole Heartbeat Pulse ancien Creole. Et nous avons partagé information comme ça qui a passé à culture à la Dominique, messieurs. Et semaine passée, nous passons un bon petit moment à la Martinique. Maman mia. Nous passons un bon petit moment à Martinique. Et puis, nous avons une équipe là qui était là avec nous en Martinique. Et puis, nous tenions spécial, ça c'est grand-papa même, grand-papa créole même, Gordon Henderson. Et puis, un nouvel orchestre, puis différents artistes de la Dominique, bof, jeunes, et puis, moun à l'âge, moun qui professionnel, différents gens. Vous comprenez? Nous allons parler avec eux pour dire nos expériences là. Nous allons dire spécial comme bonjour tout le monde, good morning to you wherever you are, good morning, welcome to another Creole Heartbeat edition. And it's a pleasure to be in your company with the kind compliments of Digicel. We are also live on DBS Radio, Facebook page and YouTube channel. We had a wonderful experience last week in Fort-de-France in Martinique, where Gordon Henderson, the grandpapa, the godfather, the one who was really instrumental in naming the genre Calypso, had a special concert. And very importantly, a mix of some of the young musicians and some of the veterans really backed him up. And from all reports, it was possibly one of the best backup sessions. And I have heard for a while. And they will also tell us how they felt about performing. We also have Gordon on the link. Let's see if we can say good morning to Gordon. Bonjour, mon frère.
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien. How is that beautiful wife of yours?
Oh, she's okay. She's well. It's vacation time. And in the French countries, vacances is ultimate.
Absolutely. We also have in the studios with us already two of the musicians. They performed with you. First of all, even before we introduce them, what is the feedbacks or what are the feedbacks you got from your performance last week in Martinique?
Well, according to the press, the articles that have been circulating, everybody seems to be happy, and that doesn't surprise me at all. And that make me sound vain, but it doesn't surprise me.
Why it doesn't surprise you, Gordon? I mean, you have been in this business over 50 years.
I mean, there are certain things, in life, particularly as an artist, you need to be humble, but at the same time, you should not fall into what they call imposter syndrome. That is a situation where you are afraid to give Jack his jacket, so to speak. So, if after 54 years, the Creole world can still ask me to come, I think that in itself is a celebration. So I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. We should be also hooking up with Cornell Fingers Philip, who was part of the team, as a matter of fact, did quite a bit in terms of getting the band prepared. Let's hope as soon as we can hook up with Cornell, we'll have a voice from him. But we also have Shalina and Heston in studio with us. Good morning to Shalina and Heston.
Good morning.
Okay, is Caleb in the building?
He is.
Oh, wow, that's good. So we have three of the younger musicians, and I said younger in terms of cadence slip, so they have been doing their thing. We know of Shalina, we know of Heston and also Caleb, doing their own style of music, but then in terms of cadence slip, so music new to the genre, in terms of out there, and kind of collaborating with veterans like, let's say, Junior, Cornell Fingers Philip, even UC, who's been part of the major cadence slip, so entourage. What was first of all, I want to give you an opportunity to say good morning to Creole Heartbeat listeners far and wide.
Good morning to the listeners of Creole Heartbeat. It's not my first time, but it's so happy to have you here with us today. Absolutely,
and let's go. I was surprised when Gordon was just so taken back when he heard Mr. Rodney. At one point, Gordon thought was the father, pastor, playing cadence of music. Good morning, Mr. Rodney.
Good morning, Mr. Warix.
And how are you?
Thanks for having me on Creole Heartbeat.
Okay, and Mr. Walsh, how are you?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be there today.
First of all, tell us what it took you guys. I mean, tell us the kind of work you put in to really get this performance at the level it was in Martinique last Wednesday. I give it, I'm a hard marker, I give it an A.
No. Hard marker and an A?
Yes, I give it an A because I listen to the music, I know the music, I have heard performances from Gordon, but then this time I felt it was really up there. And it was really appreciated by the huge audience in Martinique. But what it was like, let's say, preparing the set, going through the actual practices for this performance. Any one of you can start.
To talk, right?
Yes,
it was a lot of work. We had practice every Monday and Tuesday for very, very long hours. And then we still had to go home and practice. So it was a lot of internal, like personal work and a lot of band work practice together.
And you yourself, Shalina, you actually worked with Shanice.
Yes. Shanice was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately, the work got the better of her.
But let's go to the drummer, Mr. Walsh. How was it for you drumming to the rhythms of Exile One's cadence slips of music?
Well, it was a pleasure. It was a privilege. I mean, working with these musicians and the iconic, so to speak, iconic musicians in Dominica.
Is cadence slip so something that you appreciate in terms of
yes.
The style of music? How tell us about your own impressions of cadence slips of music.
Well, it comes naturally. I mean, as a Dominican musician, a Dominican drummer, It comes naturally. I mean, with bouillon, so, I mean, our own music. The Kadas genre is just like clockwork.
I know. And then putting it together for that particular performance, you guys seem extremely excited. So I suspect quite a bit of work went into actually preparing.
Yep, quite a bit of work. I mean, they make it easy. They make it easy to, well, especially Cornell, Philip, and Junior, Rolando. So they make it easy to work with.
Because you are basically the one that is going to keep the band on time.
Yes.
You know, the drumming in Kadaslip so needs to be constant. Otherwise, it may put off something or there, but you have to be there. And I listen to the drum parts and the rolls. I must give you quite a bit of credit for keeping the rhythm. So I would imagine you would have had to listen to the original songs over and over.
Yes, and based on Gordon's previous performances, I basically take from that and make it my own.
Was it the first time backing up Gordon?
Yes, it was.
But then you have backed up, I think, Mikel before?
That's correct.
What's the difference?
Not much difference, to be honest. Not much difference. So it was home away from home.
Absolutely. Caleb, what about you? You're on the keyboards. I mean, Cornell, teaming up with Cornell, what was the experience like?
I think the entire experience in general was a history lesson for me. In terms of going through all of Gordon's repertoire, if you will. Some of the songs like Boomerang and Fresh I've heard before, of course, but hearing Gordon speak about Akiaka and the history behind it is really I love that. Just knowing the history behind the music and where it comes from and what was the inspiration behind the writings. Of course, as well, to get an opportunity to study legends like Fitzroy, because my sole purpose was on the rhythm section of the band. And that is where Mr. Williams thrived.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he is a musician that is we should be celebrating in Dominica as well, because some of his work that I've listened to is really ridiculous, and for a musician that's one of the highest compliments that we can give a musician. It's crazy. So it was really an honor to study the music, study Fitzroy, and really get to understand the history with Gordon. Some of the songs that he writes, like Tuavai Puaye, and when you listen to it, then it gives you the sense that he was writing in a time that we very much should know about and study about. So that entire experience was great. The rehearsals was great as well, because we thrive on camaraderie. So we talk a lot of nonsense, we laugh a lot. And, we like to spend a lot of time together, and as a result, I think it translates to the stage where all of us was really having fun on stage, and you could feel that from the music. So that is my experience, and I hope it will continue.
What is the difference for you practicing and performing Kadaslip over the other genres that you actually performed before?
I think the difference for me is getting the influence of others. For me, it's as a musician, is learning is progressive, and as you play with different musicians, you study different music, you learn different things. So of course, I've played with Mikel, I have played with several other artists and other people, and as a result of that, you learn certain things from the music that you're learning. So it was just another opportunity for me to study Fitzroy and study how he approached the organ and rhythm. And so on and so forth. So it every genre has a different style, and you can learn from it. If it's reggae, if it's kadas, if it's jazz, and you find a way to use those influences into the music that we play in all the time. Music is repetitive.
Absolutely. Whenever we have Cornell, Miguel, just make us know, because we have him. Good morning to your fingers. What's up, my brother?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you all doing?
I'm doing okay. I was tempted to give a joke about our taxi man, but I'll hold it back. But Fingers, you're no stranger to this. I think in listening to music in Dominica and the whole history of music in Dominica, you are the closest to Fitzroy Williams, who was part of the creation of Kadas Lips of Music. How does that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I'm not the closest. Gordon is the closest.
No, in terms of the keyboards. We're talking about the keyboards, the strums. Gordon is the original writer.
You know,
Also, Gordon played keyboards, when Fitzroy didn't make it.
Yes, Gordon originally played keyboards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I met Fitzroy many moons ago, many years ago, and it was a drilling process, I must say. Because we would play Kadas before I actually met Fitzroy, and when I actually came into the rehearsal room with Fitzroy told me, no. Every song it was, no, is this. So you think, and all that kind of thing. So right now we are very close. I respect him very much. I dedicate all my Kadas performances to Fitzroy, and I say it verbally all the time. But Fitzroy and I have that relationship, that musical relationship. We understand each other. He has taught me a lot about the Kadas and how to, he has passed the baton, and right now I'm passing the baton.
Absolutely.
Again,
Thank you.
But the music has to live on. You can remember there was a time when the music was kind of taking a back seat. The Kadas music was taking a back seat, and I'm really proud to be part of the renaissance of the Kadas music.
This is extremely important. Fitzroy, even before Kadas Lips of Music, played with Boys and Them, also with the Gaylord's Power Union, possibly our most prolific in terms of performance band, similar to what Gramax used to do. So Fitzroy has been along for a while. He has been alien in recent times. I know you got the opportunity to visit him. I didn't. I'm so saddened by that. Yes. But how is he? Because we need to know how our legend is doing.
Fitzroy is Fitzroy.
Yes.
Fitzroy is Fitzroy. He's not in the best of health, but I was surprised when I saw him. I told him straight off, the way you were talking to me, I expected worse, but we sat down, we spoke for a while. We laughed. We really, it was Fitzroy, the regular Fitzroy that we know.
That's good really because we need to know, at least how our legends are doing. We know he has been ailing for a while, so it's always good to get an update as to how they're doing, which could encourage us, and we can continue to pray for him that he can move from one level of health to possibly getting,
Fitzroy, Fitzroy has his age, he has his knowledge on his head and stuff like that. So the only problem I see with Fitzroy is that he doesn't really have the strength to stand up for a performance. That's how I look at it.
Yes.
But then, everything else is the same thing. Everything else is the same thing. He just doesn't have the strength to sit down and play for a whole evening and stuff like that,
But you mentioned something very, very important, Cornell, because that's one of the things I myself had the opportunity to document and observe. You learned from Fitzroy, and you now passing it on to a very gifted Rodney Caleb, in terms of music. How does it feel to be passing on that baton? You are very young, extremely young, and we pray for long life and health for you. But at your age, being, affiliated to Fitzroy, how does it feel to now inculcate into a younger group of musicians some of the skills that you learned?
To be honest, I don't look at it as passing the baton. I look at it as sharing the knowledge.
Sharing the knowledge, exactly.
Because passing the baton is like a job, whereas you're supposed to have a passion to share the knowledge. You understand?
Absolutely.
And that is what it's all about, sharing the knowledge. Kadas music, we're proud of Kadas music being from Dominica, and the best thing we can do is to spread it, spread the groove, spread the vibe.
Absolutely.
And that is something that comes naturally with me. Even if I try not to say anything, I always end up saying something.
But Cornell, so all you did something remarkable. Gordon was in France, and you were still able to get your practices done. virtually. I mean, Gordon in France, you guys in Dominica, and you yourself who are always on the road doing your other stuff that you do, but you still got the practices. Tell us how difficult was it, and tell us about the practices.
It wasn't difficult. I mean, I left what, like 3 weeks. The last rehearsal he has was about 3-4 weeks before the actual gig itself. But we prepared, we did recordings, and we have this chat group, and we would always talk about what we think of this song and that song. Sometimes I'd call the guys privately and tell them, okay, what I think of this and that, but we basically were ready. We were ready going. From the time I left Dominica, I know that we were ready. The background vocals was on point. I was happy. I was happy. I was satisfied. And with technology, with technology, you could easily just, it was easy for us.
Absolutely. We will get Gordon's impression, because Gordon would have played, I mean, with how many bands? Because Gordon have a backup band in Martinique, in Guadeloupe, in France, even in Reunion. And then you guys. But I saw him with a different sort of exuberance. He'll tell us about a little later. But in terms of, let's go back to those in the studio. Tell us about the night. Because we got a scare just before, just after rehearsals or the song check, that the gig may not be on. But I saw the disappointment on you guys, because we know we are in the hurricane season, and we heard of some warning that night, and you guys were so disappointed. But eventually, despite the inclement weather, the gig was on. Tell us about the night performing to one of the greatest in Creole world ever, to my mind, one of the best poets ever from the whole Francophone world, performing with the legendary, he hates people to say legendary, Gordon Henderson. I mean, the one who has done so much. He's a musical intellect, by the way. He's not just a musician, but he's a musical intellect. He knows when something sounds right. He knows when something sounds good. We'll get his impression then, but how was it performing with him on the night itself?
Well, Gordon made everything easy.
Yes.
He made you comfortable on the stage. And he basically gave up that vibe. He was just vibing with us, and for the entire show he was that. So the energy was just there. It was flowing, and the crowd could feel it. We could feel it. He could feel it. So that it was just an epic.
Yes,
I should say.
Because Gordon's performance is different. It's like a
Right.
history lesson.
Right.
He gives you the history of certain songs in between. So those who may not be able to understand the song, because when a song is playing, you may hardly understand everything. But he gives you a synopsis as to what the song entails, even before he actually sings it.
Right.
What was it like for you, Shalina, on the night? I see you at, we're after all that fun and fun.
Listen,
and
I was
fun.
having way too much
You were
fun.
having, I suspect,
I swear.
according to Cornell.
I swear.
According
I
to
was in the
Cornell, Cornell said to you, you were having too much fun. But for you, tell us how it was for you and Shanice.
It was really, it was I believe that my personality is always an element in whatever stage performance I have to do. So even if I do it absent-mindedly, have fun on the stage, it's
shaking his head.
She cannot help herself.
I cannot help myself. The music was really, really good. Yeah. And I was hearing, what's his name in the background saying, but all you practice, man. So, I mean, it went to show, you understand? And Gordon had some really deadly karate moves on stage.
Yeah,
so he was encouraging us a little bit more. Then he come by the backup vocals and give his energy. I mean, come on. We were really just taking from his energy. He was same age with us at the time.
I have never seen Shanice dance so much. I mean, I've been viewing Shanice at the Cicero Singers. I saw at the finals at the Calypso Arena. But she really seemed to be having lots of fun, and I suspect your energy sort of translated through her.
Contagious.
Very contagious, I must say. And even there's a guy, Daniel Betis, as a matter of fact, he wrote a book about Calypso. Was really impressed with the backup vocals. Not only your dancing, but the way you guys sounded.
Oh, well.
Out there, you was pretty impressed. What about you, Caleb?
Well, the night was fun. I think on the way to the venue, we were skeptical as to how many people going to be there because of the situation before the storm and so on and so forth.
By the way, they actually stopped selling tickets because of that.
That's what we understood. So when I got on stage and I saw the amount of people I was there still, I was
waiting.
What is
We
going
were like,
on?
wait.
If you didn't have a storm, and to me that only gave us more fuel.
Yeah.
Because we figure under the weather circumstances, the people were there throughout the night. Rain stop, rain start, and those people left the umbrella
And
waiting for
sitting.
Gordon, and they sitting for the entire show. Nobody left. and to me that in and of itself gives you a kind of a fuel, a kind of an energy, to keep going. Right, and just the stage vibe as well, because I was happy with my sound. I mean, usually as a musician, you go on the stage and you song check a certain way, and then one time before the show itself, then it's different. I was happy with my sound. I think everybody was feeding off one another. I watching Cornell, I watching Heston, I watching Junior, I watching the backups, I watching Jerry, and we have that kind of a kinetic energy on the stage. So and Gordon is making a lot of jokes with us and the crowd, and it was just incredible. It was an incredible experience.
I think in one of the songs, all you guys at an instrumental section, all you actually boo your rise. All you show, you see, that was very good for history. I just want the audience to understand, they actually boo your rise a little section of the Cadas to actually give the link.
Unplanned.
Yes, and it was unplanned by the
Cornell,
way.
right?
To me, this was just flawless. You would swear that it was planned, but a certain area of the instrumentation was the kind of boo your rise. Well, no thing in this, because Cornell, we knew of Cornell and
the original Booyah
the original, But to me, you saw the link. What was interesting to me, you actually saw the link between Cadas and Booyah and how close it was. And even at the lecture Cornell gave, he could feel the vibes between the various genres around the Caribbean. And I kind of documented that because this was a flawless. You would swear that you guys practiced that for days. But then, Gordon, I want to bring you back in because, I know you have several bands. You created the genre with your brothers. Tell us about, first of all, how you rate this particular band. I have my rating, and I will also give the listeners the ratings of our ambassador, M Frampton.
I know that both you and Mark, we only had probably 3 or 4 new persons, to that band. If you go on YouTube right now, there is a lengthy 2-hour concert videotape by Cornell. So, you see is used to be there. Jerry is used to be there. Well, instead of Junior, you would have
Freddie.
the one who taught Junior.
Freddie.
Freddie. So I noticed that Wadix, Mark, and so on, you are not used to see the Dominican team. And that's why I'm very happy that you have the new ones, because this represents transition too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there's a lady there, and ladies don't like to reveal their ages. But that music, some of that music was recorded in the early 70s. That is before.
I wasn't
So
even
the
a thought.
transition, because in DA, when people talk about music industry, they like to say about the veterans, must do collabs with the young. This has been going on for a while. Imagine Cornell happens to be part of the older, not the oldest, part of the older generation. So this is just in the generational progress. This is just work in progress.
In terms of the appreciation, because we saw the massive appreciation from the audience itself. They were dancing. Quite a bit of them who actually sat earlier on. They were actually dancing. They put down their chairs and were having so much fun singing to every song of yours. How you found the audience itself actually enjoying the music? Because I suspected you got some energy from them also.
Well, this is why in the beginning of our conversation, I don't want it to sound like boasting, but this is how it happens in the entire Creole world. That's what, and in Dominica, I understand that because while Cadence Lipso is Dominican, but it doesn't have the same impact in Dominica, except for the Midnight Groovers. The Midnight Groovers is the Cadence Lipso band par excellence in Dominica. But out of Dominican Creole world, that's how it goes, and there's no surprise. Absolutely no surprise. As a matter of fact, we were supposed to be continuing on a tour that was kind of stopped because the French had a snap election. And most of these gigs were either from municipalities or government controlled. So they had to postpone, not cancel. Huh?
Yeah.
So later on, I hope with the same team. Unfortunately, everybody isn't full-time music, so you have to negotiate with employers and that sort of thing. But I hope that with this team we can complete the entire tour throughout the Creole market. And I hope that you can be there, Wadix, with your video team of several cameras to really show Dominicans how it is appreciated out there. And we're not faking, we're not lying. So we have 3 witnesses here.
Well, I spoke to M Frampton, who is the ambassador representing the Natural in Martinique. And the first thing he said, tell Gordon I say to hold that team. Tell Gordon I say do not let that team go. And I was happy when he expressed the same to you, because he felt, and he normally partakes in our WCMF, but then for some reason there was a difference in the sound that night that he felt that was actually different, and he actually came to you and mentioned the same to you. But there was also a little, not a polemic, but something that occurred with the social media, because you also have a backup band in Martinique, you also have a backup band in Guadeloupe, all over your backup bands. But this time you opted for the Dominica backup band, and I think there was possibly a little jealousy going on with the Martinique band, who felt that they should have been part of it. Tell us about that.
No, that's not what happened. That is what it may seem to have happened.
Okay.
But that's not what happened at all. There is a guy who has a band.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call his name or the name of his band, because I just think it's giving unnecessary publicity to a relatively unknown guy.
Okay.
But this guy thought the best thing to do was to publish something saying that I have used his band as Exile One.
Wow.
And he said, well, his band is the Martinique Exile One and stuff like that. So I had to put it clear. I put it clear. It's on my page, which is open, Facebook, and anybody can see what is the reaction even of Martinican people. He was just trying to make a buzz, a polemical buzz, but it didn't work.
Because I suspected, it's my impression that because of the performance on that particular night, there was a bit of jealousy. That's my opinion. I'm free to have my opinion, because based on what I read on social media, I saw a guy who was feeling, wow, it should have been them. But then, the
No,
whole
that didn't happen.
yes.
But since you're pushing me, the guy they're talking about is Joko. Joko
Okay.
is a carnival guy with his own band called Sebugla, and he has never been involved in playing with me at all.
Absolutely. So now we have clarified that, especially for those who may be French friendly and may have gone through the particular post on social media. I'm very happy that you clarified that on social media. And also we are live on DBS YouTube channel and also live on DBS Radio. But Gordon, before we go back to some of the other musicians, I really felt that this idea or this concept can bring tremendous dividends, and like I'm not sure where was planned, but I think this particular team should go as far as possible because I can see unlimited unlimited potential in what I saw, on this particular night, going through the entire Francophone world. Even giving, let's say, Dominicans who reside in the tri-state in North America a taste of what's, I felt something different that night. I'm even shivering also. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I've always believed, that is why I insist that everyone listening to us should go on my YouTube channel and see that this is not new. We have about 3 or 4 new members. And I don't know, you can compare the music, I don't know. But I think that as Mr. Walsh, if we were on stage, I'd throw one on him, but was saying, Calypso is Dominican music. Now, to understand what I mean by that, there are 2 points to remember. There's something I heard Cornell say maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, that most Caribbean music is basically the same. It's 4/4 music and so on. So it's a matter of the accent, the variation. Now, Walsh was saying that if you are Dominican, you're a Dominican musician, you should be able to play cadence, because cadence is what? Is a glimpse of what the Haitians played in the 70s, but very much how we feel Creole music, the Dominican approach to Creole music. So that is cadence lipso. It's just like the Creole language. We speak our Creole in Dominica. They speak it in Martinique, in Guyana, in Réunion. But anyone will identify our Creole language when we speak. Similarly, it's the same thing that happens with the music, because our music has our traditional background, but it also has a lot of the Anglo Calypso. So that is our accent. That is why I don't like to compare the way that people from Guyana would play Calypso, or Martinique, or Guadeloupe, or Reunion, because to me, it's as if they were speaking. It is Creole music, but there is a specificity that is tied to each island. And that is ours. And that is why you like it like that, Wadix. And I agree with you. We need to export it. And that's my intention. Huh? I hope that I have the strength and the health to do it. But that has always been my intention.
I'm happy you said that, because it's very interesting that earlier on you mentioned back home it is not the same appetite for something we saw in Martinique. It's not the same appetite for it. But then, very importantly, there are millions of Creole people globally, which means the Creole music is accepted by millions. We're only tapping possibly maybe 1 million or from Martinique and Guadeloupe, but there are millions of Creole people globally. And I want to go back to our younger members. In educating yourself about music in general and how you can actually reach a global audience, because lots of musicians, it's their vision to cross over to mainstream at some point in time. But here is a market that actually is there. It was created by Dominicans. It was created based on calypso music. How you yourself as younger musicians saying you can possibly take advantage of this particular market? It's there. And if you study the history of calypso music, it has gone through the four corners of the globe. And one of those days, Gordon may tell you, as far as Japan, imagine Jamaica. There was a recording distribution in Jamaica, where we know for reggae and so on. Music, calypso music was number one. And you heard him said on the night that a Portuguese national take one of his songs and sold millions. Jamais Voisa. I'm not sure if you understood, but then that is part of the history. One of Gordon's songs, Jamais Voisa, they took it into, and he actually tried to sing a few lines in the chorus of it. But that's part of the history of the music. Imagine somebody did an adapted version, something similar to what the guy did for No Woman No Cry with Bob Marley, and sold millions. So that is the influence. Now, you as younger musicians, understanding that when you visualize the future of music, what you think is the potential to be part of this particular movement? We can start the walls first. I see your mind is going far. Let's start with you first.
Let me gather my thoughts first.
Yes.
Move on to-
Okay, let's go, Shalina, because you have been around for a while. I know you have sung Creole music also.
Right. So as an artist, that I used to think that my genre was soca. I have branched out into so many different genres over the time, including kadas, and I really actually started kadas through with Gordon's son Dion Henderson. Yeah. So I'm well in your family, Gordon, in case you need to know. And now that I am a member of Exile One, wait, and Fitzroy, Uncle Fitzroy is actually my family, my cousin, distant cousin, but still, I found that out recently. I was always calling him uncle, but. I intend to keep doing, even because of comfort, I would say, enjoying playing with Mikael that does kadas, enjoying playing and, shall I say, traveling with Gordon. Shall I say, I intend to take it as far as I can, because it's us. We are the ones that coming up. We know the inevitable must happen. Everybody cannot be around for their entire lives, or nobody's immortal. So, I mean, I can push my little kadas where I can.
Yes, Caleb, with that global Creole market, millions of people, when you look at that, and we can take advantage, because that's where the thought was for even the World Creole Music Festival, from the genesis to be actually been out there. But we only just taking at least a percentage or two from that and dealing with the Caribbean. But what's your vision? What you can foresee as being part? You are now part of it. What you can foresee, Caleb?
I'll tell you what I've learned through studying musicians is that they always start by studying somebody, and they develop their own style and their own voice. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed, even with some of the musicians that I've studied, and I'm starting to study musicians like Fitzroy and Cornell and Gordon, is that through it all, yes, we take the influences, but we develop our own voice. Mm-hmm, we develop our own take on it, so to speak, of the genre of the kadas music, and we make it our own.
Yes.
And we make it progressive. So I cannot play like Fitzroy. I'd wish to. but I certainly cannot play like Fitzroy. I can try to mimic it as much as I can, or play like Cornell. But what is important for me is that with Fitzroy and with Cornell and with Gordon, that I take as much as the musical influences as possible, and make it my own, so that the next generation after me can say, okay, that's how Caleb played it, but Caleb, I cannot play like Caleb, but take my influences, and actually do the history and the research to say, but that's how Fitzroy played, that's how Cornell played, that's how Gordon played. So the Kadas music will continue to evolve even for us as young musicians. Now, with that being said, everyone is going to, especially Gordon, his intention is to export the music. And I believe that he'll succeed in that. And a lot of the musicians like Charlene and Mikel will excel in that. And as a result, our influences, our stamp on the music will go before us. Our stamp on the music will bring returns to our country. Yep. And they will know, okay, that style, that voice, that language like Gordon was talking about is specifically from Dominica. That rhythm on the keyboard, that's a Dominican playing that. So, and I think that is essential for us as young musicians, and Heston as well, myself, that we continue with, we not only we learn from the Fitzroys and the Cornell and the Mikel and the Juniors and the Gordon, but we take our style, our take on it, and we try our best to perfect it so that others can know that's a Dominican playing jazz, right, or that's a Dominican playing kadas, and that is what I believe that we can all try to do as young musicians. Drums, bass, keyboards, whatever it is that it may be, as a vocalist as well. Right, Wadix? And I think at the end of this, that our musical industry will be better for it, not just through kadas, but we have a lot of music that we have to offer.
Well, I think that is the direction it should go, because you guys think differently from the guys in the 70s, and the foundation is set, and let's say it's like a template, and is, you know, with your creative juices and what's around you to do. But then my most important concern is a market. A market was established, and you know, that market, you know, we need to take that market and run with it. And we are not. For some reason, we are deciding to go another direction, but then I think the market is there. There are millions of people in that particular market, but then for some reason we are not seeing it or educating ourselves enough about it to understand that there are lots of revenue. There are lots of money to be made from that particular market. That's why I'm very excited about this particular project. And I think there are a tremendous amount of dividends that can be arrived from this particular project. Are you ready for us, Heston? What's your take on it? Well, by the way, even before you go, something about, even when the Kadas Calypso was actually at its peak, there were several variations, you know, of Kadas Calypso music, because what Groovers play is not the same style like Exile One. Correct. Bells Combo also play a different style. Gramax and Bilomen also a completely different style. So even within the Kadas, unlike several genres today that is monotonous, even in Kadas during those days there were several styles of the same Kadas Calypso music. So it would be very encouraging to hear how for instance, we interpreted compa in our style, how you now would interpret what you're hearing, to include some of your influences in the genre to bring it to another level. What's your take, Walsh?
Okay. Well, first of all, you spoke about the marketing, right, of the genre.
The foundation that is set in terms of the market already there.
Right. I personally believe, well, the musicians, right? You basically take, you have to, I should put it, you have to, how do you get in it?
Take your time, my bro. It's just a nice conversation we have. This is Creole Heartbeat.
My thoughts in mind.
And we have a few.
Yes. I have in terms of, I mean, some years ago, we used to have NCCU Kadas Calypso. Yes. And we saw a lot of persons, you know, doing the Kadas. Yes. I think at some point we had 11 competitors. And we have White Fairy. I heard your intro of White Fairy singing about Prince Wadix.
Yes. Well, he dedicated a song to me.
Right. So I'm thinking of that that gap, because we haven't had Calypso in a while. I probably was the last time we had Calypso was 2018. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
In terms of the competition, yeah.
In terms of the competition. So I think somewhere along the way that we have to reintroduce these young artists that were at Calypso, because a lot of these songs were great songs, and you were present in that. A lot of these songs were absolutely great songs. And I believe we as a people need to even transition that into the French market, where they embrace the music, like Gordon was saying much earlier, much more than is embraced at home. And I think with that understanding, we can take advantage of that market, because we had a lot of young artists with a lot of good songs that we need to push in those markets in order to capitalize on that. But truth be told, I haven't heard much about Calypso or those artists since that time.
Well, I must say, NCCU tried, and they tried, real hard. Yeah. But I guess because of the two storms, and then immediately after that, COVID-19. But I know they are still interested. But then I would still want to go further. We have the 70s beat, and let's just take Haitian compa, and even let's take salsa. What you heard in the 70s and 80s of Haitian music is totally, it's similar but different now, with the innovation from, let's say, the T-Vice and the Carry Me, the Kai, but it's still Haitian music. I haven't found our cadence evolving to that level. I felt that we're still trying to allow it to stick to the 70s, because remember, you said that you want to add your new innovations to the genre, and that is what comes to play. That's what comes to my mind immediately. How you as a musician will take the raw material and then create offsprings of it to the liking of possibly the new generation. And that's what happened to, let's say, from if you take reggae from ska to dancehall. Now we're seeing a different type of dancehall coming in, a different style now. So the music continue to evolve to the taste of the new generation. You saw salsa, merengue to now bachata. You see the Asian come to nouvelle génération. You see before Swat Soca used to be from Baron and Sparrow, now to the faster Marshall Lego jacket, now to a more groovy. But then that is where I believe I would have loved to see, before anything happens to me, the music can possibly go. And there is the market available. Gordon is still a headliner in La Réunion. As you observed at the festival, at the event, Gordon was the headline. As a matter of fact, exactly. They even asked you all to play earlier.
Right.
Gordon has been a headline. I have been to 41st thing where Gordon closed down with over 10,000 people, closing down the festival on the 41st. So while in Dominican he may not be a headliner, in the Francophone world he is that.
Exactly.
Which is more important. Just recently we saw an award being given to, or he is part of those in 50 years celebrating in SACEM, which is the business aspect that we tried to actually brought about a couple of weeks ago, where the data of sales is totally different from who we say that is trending in Dominica. SACEM goes with the data of sales, but then we go on likes and, so it's a completely different way we actually rate who is the biggest thing. But then how it should be done is a structural way where you have to have sales. You must have sales. That is where it comes down to. Yes, social media is different, but after 50 years, Gordon is in a bracket by himself with a few other artists. But Gordon, I'm not sure if you want to come and come back across and even educate them as to what part of SACEM are you now and why.
I don't know if we have a lot of time, and I'm sure that Cornell has things to say. But in terms of SACEM, this is more about copyright. That is something that would take a program by itself, because when I say copyright, I'm not joking. We know. It's more about the area of the industry that we call music publishing. And this is something that is overlooked throughout the Caribbean, Trinidad, and all of that. And Wardix, you have proof. When we were in Trinidad once, and I told them, but I don't understand why my copyright society asked me if Sugar Boom Boom was my song. But I was a member of SASEM long before Lord Kitchener. I think he's dead now, who was born probably 20 years before me. He was in England in 1930. But that is another story. But there are a few things that were mentioned today that are very important that should be discussed. One of them is about marketing, niche marketing. I in the beginning of the show, you mentioned about crossing over into mainstream and that sort of thing. But we cannot think like that anymore. Mainstream, people used to believe that the American market is mainstream, but there's almost nothing called the American market. You have the country market, you have the R&B market, hip hop, and different niche markets. We have a Creole niche market with millions of consumers, and we do not design, because somewhat it doesn't look attractive probably. So that is one thing we have to start thinking about, the niche where we're strong. We are strong in the Creole niche market, but we do not want, nobody wants to be a Gordon Henderson, but everybody wants to be a what's his name? Michael Montano. You see, that is not my niche, so I don't really know his name. You understand? So it doesn't look attractive, but it is lucrative. So probably we should start looking at where we're strong. And it's not only in music. We have bananas. We've had a very successful banana industry for one time. But when I lived in Dominica, I noticed that almost no child in their little recess box would have a banana. They would have corn curl. So the corn curl is more attractive than what we have. So that is a societal thing. One thing that is often said is about the variations of bands, that Midnight Groovers will have its sound, and the band from Maho,
Bells Combo
would have their sound, etc. Well, this is true about all music, particularly Caribbean music. If you take reggae music, Third World doesn't sound like Bob Marley, like the Wailers, and the Wailers doesn't sound. But it is since the new technology came about and computers determine sounds. Cornell will tell you that they have about 3,000 bass drum sounds. And you have sounds that are trending. So if everybody will use the trending sounds, then everybody will sound the same.
Yes.
Also, in the new methods of writing songs, a guy would just come up with something, a beat and some harmonies, and they use the Jamaican pronunciation of rhythm, and they call it a rhythm. And the same rhythm is used by a million people. So this explains why when there were bands would have their personality, because it's a real drummer, a real guitarist, and so on. Whereas modern technology is not all bad. This is what permitted me to rehearse without coming to Dominica to the band house.
Yes.
So you see, we have a lot. And in terms of the evolution, last thing I will say of Cadence Calypso is the people that you address. I don't know if the newcomers noticed the way that people reacted to Fresh. In Dominica, people prefer the 1970. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't call names, but I have spoken to journalists in Dominica who follow music, and they talk about authentic calypso. So to them, authentic calypso is what their opinion is of what they heard and grew up with in the 1970s. But Kadas has moved. Akiaka, let's be honest, is not fresh.
True.
Travail Moyen is not a piqué point.
Yes.
But in Dominica, fresh, maybe because of a lot of repeated broadcasts, 20 years after the recording, fresh became a kind of little hit, but it is not among the favorites. So there has been evolution, but the Dominican society has moved along with the evolution as the Haitians.
Absolutely.
The Haitians they didn't change the name. You notice Jamaicans in their progress change names.
Yes.
In my lifetime, there was ska.
Yeah.
My boy lollipop chop chop chop. It moved into rock steady, where they put a little bit more mento or calypso into it, rock steady, singer man, and so on. And they moved it into reggae, where it was more Americanized in the vocals. As a matter of fact, they used to bring down Americans, and they used to do a lot of covers, a lot like what is happening in a certain type of bouillon. Because I noticed that Celine Dion almost got the road match in Dominica last year. But the same thing happened in Jamaica many years ago. They did versions of American songs in their beat. And then it moved to dancehall and so on. Dancehall that has a lot of Creole in it. Waltz will tell you from the drumming. But I will leave it to Cornell.
Thank you very much, Godfather. But as we are just getting an instruction there from Dr. Miggs to wind down. Final words for you, Cornell, and then we go over to our younger younger musicians. Final words from you, the fingers. By the way, congratulations on the Julie Mango, Dr. Miggs. Mangolika. I was expecting a mango bar, but I get a lika. Congratulations. But final words from your fingers.
Thank you, man. Couple things quickly. We talk about the modernization of the Kadas. I have experimented with Kadas, but I have not experimented as much as Dion Henderson has experimented with Kadas. Dion, he literally sits down and says he's going to do it differently. So there's a lot of fusion Kadas out there, but in Dominica, we tend to think that the authentic is the only Kadas that we should play. And it's sad because if we want to move forward, I don't think the musicians are the ones not pushing the new age Kadas, but it's not really being accepted in Dominica. True. Another thing I'll say, we talk about the thing Kadas, the credit union Kadas competition. It is disappointing that I think their focus is the bottom line and not really the preservation or the marketing of the genre.
Agreed.
I'm saying it not to bring down anyone or anything like that, but it's really hurtful when the last Kadas competition, which Fanatic won, is not documented in no way or form. And to me, that should have been the focus. From day one, that should have been the focus, but that never happened. And my last statement is concerning what happened in Guadeloupe with the other band. Kadas came from Dominica. Kadas will be played by Dominicans. The only authentic Kadas you'll ever have is from Dominicans. I can remember calling Gordon and asking him, yo, Creole Festival coming on. I on there, and he explained to me and stuff like that. And I accept it. Everybody will have their time, and we have to stop with that kind of mentality. All shall eat. We're all musicians. We're all going to work. We like the genre. We're going to work in the genre. And not everybody can be on stage at the same time.
I agree 100%.
So these are things that we just have to put aside and just be grateful that we have the opportunity to be there with Gordon when we can.
Absolutely. I love that vibes. Let's go, Walsh. Eston.
Well, it was
Final words, yeah.
It was a pleasure working with Gordon for the first time. Always a pleasure with Cornell and the other musicians. And I really look forward to just having more opportunities in the near and distant future.
By the way, I like all your vibes on stage, man. And you have the real vibes, man. Energizer Bunny, Shalina. By the way, you got a compliment from Ace DJ on the Nature
Well,
Island.
thank you.
That's all I'll say.
Well, my final words, I want to big up Shanice Langford, who couldn't be there with us today. Sean Shillingford at watching us and watching all my facial expressions.
By the way, we must
online.
big up Sean, man.
That's right.
Yes.
Then on to big up Junior. He was supposed to call, but I guess he changed his mind. Don't forget my favorite guitarist, Jerry
yes.
Muller.
And UC.
Right, and UC, but yeah, I wasn't done much. It was very, very fun working with the guys. I think we naturally have a chemistry since we play with each other, with Mikael and with other bands, and even solo performances for myself. I would hire some of the musicians. But I intend or expect that we do well further with the music that we're doing right now.
Yeah, Caleb.
Win again. That's my last. that's my last thing. Win again. When we're doing that again, I think it was so much fun. Traveling and being on stage and at the rehearsal, so much fun, so much education. I learned so much from speaking with Gordon and hearing him speak, and as well as from Cornell as well and Junior. So for me, it's a learning experience, it's an education. So win again for me. Right, Wadix?
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Miggs, you have heard it all. I mean, the experience, the Matic experience. Your own opinion before we say bye-bye?
Yes, Prince Wadix. I wanted to add something in terms of Kadas in the contemporary realm of things, especially after Cornell's contribution. And I will allow you guys a couple more minutes in case any one of you want to comment on that. You would remember, Wadix, or recall in 1997 we had the WCMF commemorative CD that Cornell was very much instrumental in the Mizikanu. We had the Mizikanu compilation in 97, 98, 99. There was a major gap. They did something recently. But what I believe is that if this project or this concept would have continued, I think Kadas in the contemporary scheme of things or among the youth, in modern culture would have been in a much better and bigger place had that just continued.
Fingers, you want to respond before, quickly?
I agree. And the intention has always been there to do another one. I mean, every year, Mikael and I speak about it, but it's just a matter of coming together and doing it. Also, this is out of pocket.
Okay, so
the support is not that we're begging for the support, but without the
that's
support,
how we begging for the support, man. We need Lotto or somebody or one of them that's selling passport.
But we literally have material there sitting down since the last one, and it's just a matter of coming together and probably putting the finance together and stuff like that. Because I mean, it's not that we do not want to do it, but you cannot blame. Are we there?
Yes, we are there.
Okay. You cannot blame if Mikael has a hustle and she has a gig. She has to go. If I have my gig, I have to go. So it's difficult when it comes, especially when there is no financial return per se.
Yes.
It's difficult for us to come together and do it when we have all our hustles doing. So hopefully something can happen this year. I mean, summer is almost over. I don't know if it can be done, but the intention is always there to do it, but it's just a matter of scheduling to get something like that going.
Miggs, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Should that be a project of DDA? I mean, in as much it represented Dominica, is that a project that DDA should actually finance?
I think it should be supported by DDA to whatever extent. I mean, part of the responsibility or a great part rely on the musicians themselves, and I understand the challenges based on what Cornell brought up, but I really think, not meaning to go back and delve in the past, but if that concept, it didn't have to be Cornell and Mikel in particular, if we had just pursued and continued with that, I don't think we would have had that disconnect that exists right now.
I will add though, it was supported from the volume 1, 2, and 3. It was supported by the Carnival Organizing Committee at the time. It was supported by the DFC, but I guess their focus changed, in time. But it was supported, and we appreciated their support.
Okay, thank you very much, Cornell. Thank you very much to all of you. Mr. G, Gordon Henderson, the Godfather, thank you very much, Dr. Mix, and also thank you for the extra time and your participation, a very permanent question at the end. Let's hope that the authorities can listen and possibly engage. The musicians are willing, they have material. You heard the exuberance from the younger musicians collaborating with some of the finest musicians in the Western Hemisphere. It's now up to us to act, because I still believe, and I want to say it before I leave, if we never had Kadas Calypso, I don't think we would have had the authenticity to say we have a World Creole Music Festival. Until next week, I'm Prince Wadix. May God bless you. Over to Dr. Mix Labadi.
Faut nous connaître, pour mieux c'est pour nous tout ça bénéfice.